All right, here we are. Is this on? Testing. Okay, we've got this. Just need to apply some filters. All right, we should be connected and ready to start. Okay, hello everybody, welcome to yet another Narwhals live stream. Going to be reviewing some pull requests, going to be working on some features, and gonna be explaining and demystifying some internals as we go. All right then, let's do this. So what do we have to take a look at today? I think we've got some open pull requests which we really need to resolve. Okay. So first we've got a pull request about the square root, and this is now green, so I think we can merge that. Then for coalesce, I'd aligned with Cameron earlier, so I think I can give him a chance to address that. We've got kurtosis and utility. And then there's a few things that we need to do on the road towards V2. Okay, nice. Got this one working. Let's just give it... I think I'd viewed all the files. 16 out of 17 viewed. Okay, oh yeah, there's just the test where we've had to change this from float 32 to float 64. But that's just what... I think that's fine. Just leave it back. Just leave the backend to upcast if it wants to. It's not something we concern ourselves with. And we can ship this. Okay, nice. Let's get this in. Okay, then we've got some unused utility functions, and we've got kurtosis. I think kurtosis is another maths one that we wanted. Let's label this as enhancement, and I think this should be a fairly easy cell. HIJKL, yeah, okay. Alphabetical order was respected, nice. Then we're just implementing the formula here. Seems legit. Yeah, legit. Float or none, yeah, sure. Seems legit. Legit. Nice that here for DuckDB we can just use an inbuilt function. I was a bit worried about that. For IBIS, this is not implemented. Okay, and we've got a feature request for it. Was it never brought up before? I'm curious. Okay, well, here they're saying that it's difficult to justify array.kurtosis, which, okay, to be fair, it probably kind of is, but we can take this one. I think this is fine. Sure. Yeah, it just returns a scalar, so that's the correct. Yeah, this one returns an expression. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Nice. Okay, so here the issue is linked. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, okay, if it's empty. Sure. Yeah, this is, yeah, really nice. Okay, nice. Cutter. PySpark default matches. Yeah, cool. So I need to add this to the list of ones. Do I need to add it? I think this is fine. Yeah, nice. Awesome feature. Let's ship it. I think this actually closes that issue about maths functions, right? Maths in brackets. So yeah, I've done that one, and now kurtosis. Yeah, let's ship it. I think we can close it. Enhancement. So closes number 2676. All right. Nice. Okay, yeah, got some nice new features upcoming in the new release. Always exciting when that happens. Then, yeah, music to my ears when people remove unused functions. Nice one. Okay, sure, yeah. No hurry on this one. In which case, okay, there's a couple of things that I need to update people on. So I had a call with Perlis devs earlier about any and all horizontal, how they don't match the default. And we need to make a decision about that. So let's start by just updating it here in Polars, then we can update it in Narwhals. So the issue is that any horizontal and all horizontal don't match the vertical counterparts, whereas other underscore horizontal functions do. That's a bit of an issue. So it's already not aligned with SQL, but it wasn't aligned with SQL to begin with. SQL returns null for empty sums, whereas Polars returns 0. So the question is, yeah, what to do? Well, first of all, this was decided that it should be added to the 2.0 milestone. I'll just post a summary. So, summary from discussion today. So other horizontal functions match their vertical counterparts by default. So any and all horizontal should probably do the same. So this could be a 2.0 change, but the difficulty is in how to get there. Add ignore nulls. Now make it default to none and raise if the user doesn't specify which they want, so the default can be changed in 2.0 to make it match the vertical counterpart, or add ignore nulls, make it default to false, so it's backwards compatible. Then just before, then in the last release, before 2.0, change the default to none, so it raises a warning and users can upgrade. But there was alignment, there was agreement on aligning any horizontals default with extra.any. So just to be explicit, let's also write what we're aiming for. Yeah, so now this is where we need to decide what the hell to do in Narwhals. So if we have a data frame which looks like this, true, null, null, false, then the desired behavior is to have the following. So pl.call a b dot any. This one shouldn't change, but any horizontal a b should, this one should become true, false. Let's just post that there for maximal explicitness. Yeah. And this leaves us with what... I wouldn't say that this is a bug then. And this is related to API. Yeah. Okay, looks like Cameron is joining. Hi. Hi, Cam. Yeah, so I think we need to make an issue about this here in Narwhals as well, which is the API. Align any horizontal and all horizontal with polars future behavior. Okay, right, so the future default behavior for any and all horizontal will likely change in polars. So I think the most future-proof way to handle this in Narwhals would be to add ignore nulls to any all horizontal and to make it a required argument in the main namespace. If later we want to make it non-required, then that could be done in a backwards compatible manner. But we should wait for polars to do that. So, plan. So introduce ignore nulls in any and all horizontal. Then in stable.v1, it defaults to false, backwards compatibility. In main, it has no default. It's a required argument. Once polars 2 comes out, we consider making the default true in the main Narwhals namespace. Or in v2. Easier to start strict and loosen later. Okay, yeah, I'd say that this is quite high priority then. That's also linked to the polars issue. I think it's fine if we have a required argument, because Narwhals is always going to be stricter than polars anyway. We're kind of targeting different audiences, so I think that's fine. Okay, we've got this. What else do we have here that's tagged road to v2? We've got this with row index, and then this one here about the dependencies. Yeah, I kind of want to sort that one out. I started this, but then didn't push it. I don't think I pushed it. Maybe this is a good one to resolve. Like, there's a ton of really interesting things that I want to work on, but I know that it's that really I need to put aside what I find more interesting and focus a bit on getting towards the stable.v2, because stable.v1 is a bit painful. Especially the fact that there's this like interchange data frame thing that gives really unclear error messages in some cases. Yeah, okay. Let's give this a go. So this was the branch. Error is data frame series. So let's get rid of some things. Okay, then diff upstream main. Yeah, that's we need to update. Oh, hey, done in the chat as well. Cool. Good to see you both. Right, I've only got one screen, so it's a bit harder than usual to try to keep everything together, but I think I'll be able to keep an eye on everything that's going on. Very tiny screen today, unfortunately. But it's okay. So how are we gonna do this? Right, we've just merged. Oh, right, yeah. So here we've got this raise if Narwhals df or function. So yeah, the idea is that all of these functions, like is pandas data frame, is Modin data frame, and so on, should not be callable on Narwhals objects. I think if someone does that, it's a mistake. They're meant to be called on the native objects. And I think this is potentially a common error because I saw it in the Plotly code base and we then fixed that. And it's also a mistake that I nearly made in a pull request to Altair, but fortunately Dan and Pyrite saved me. But I wouldn't mind if it was just not allowed at runtime either. So we've got these two little helper functions, raise if narwhals series, raise if narwhals df or lf. So then these just get called within all of these functions, not the is pandas index. There's just no narwhals index, so I don't think that needs it. But for the others, we just do this, we just intercept them with this quick little check. So got them, yeah. Looks like we've got this everywhere. So then we just need to copy a lot of these over in stable. In stable.v1, we need to copy them over, but without the check. Let's take a look at those. So in stable, we want to look at stable.v1.dependencies. Okay, got a question from Dan. Do you know Any other package that Ray is in and is guard? I don't know. That's a good point. How much do we want to go against what people might, what might be common? Yeah, there's some missing inputs we need to include here to get this to work. I think it's relatively low effort to finish this off, so I keep putting this off because it's just not the kind of thing that's most interesting to work on, but I think it's good to do it. So let's at least get the pull request ready. And then we can discuss in the pull request. So Dan says, if not, I feel like we'd need to add a big warning in the doc string saying it's possible. Yeah, sure. That's fine. So we need to import. Where does get pandas get imported from? It's here. So we need this Dask data frame. What else are we missing? DD. DuckDB. Okay, party emoji. Nice. And this PySpark connect stuff. PySpark SQL. So how much of this were we already exporting here? I don't think. Technically, we don't need to include the ones which weren't there before. Yeah, we just need to kind of re-implement the ones that were already exported, and for the others, well, this is just... Yeah, I don't think we need to. So, like this pandas-like series, we've got that one. Like data frame is SQL frame. This one was never part of V1. I think we don't need to worry about it. Should there be one for Dask Extra as well? I don't know. Maybe not if we don't need it. These functions are all a bit strange, to be honest. A lot of this just comes from early days of Narwhals. DuckDB relation. This one's not exported. But for some reason is IBIS table was. And the rest all is. Okay, nice. We should be able then to... Let's just push this. Let's make sure that the PR at least is in a ready state, and then we can discuss whether we really want it. Okay, best commit message of all time. Fix up. Okay. What's this legacy? Rough legacy alias. Don't know how to get. Is there like a new alias or something? Oh, this is probably rough check that we need to put now. Does this run? Yeah, okay. Maybe that should be part of a separate PR. But doesn't hurt to leave it in. Okay. I've done that. So then we said about the tests. So there's probably tests which relate to this. We should take a look at those. Okay. Okay, well this is testing the main behavior, so I think we don't want to import the v1. We can just import nw, and then for coverage purposes and for correctness purposes, in stable.v1, we'd need to also run these and check that nothing gets raised. I think we can add all of this to the v1 test. Let's check that this one passes. Lol. Oh, it's all imported from stable.v1, which, okay, makes perfect sense. Nice, okay, regex patterns don't match. We can work with that. This is arguably a bit too tight. Let's just match on did you mean. Passed like a kidney stone. Yeah. Cool, now it's green as broccoli. So I think we can then do the counterpart, which is we can put this in v1, in the v1 test, in which we do all of this, but we check that they do raise. So yeah, sometimes vmotions are really nice. Okay, just some extra typing. Any, yeah, whatever. Test. So here we should, yeah, it shouldn't raise though. So we also want, yeah, we also want an expected probably. And the object, but we're always just running it on construct. Surely this depends on the constructor. I think this test is doing too much. We shouldn't. Should you really be running this on a like we can just use any constructor? Otherwise, we're parameterizing over everything. This is going to be a bit too much. And so far, we've been assuming that pandas is always available in all environments. So let's just use. I think we can just use that. Let's do that. Let's remove this constructor eager. Now we've got 14 tests passing. Okay, cool. That's how many? Okay, that's few. Yeah, fewer than 80 tests. I think 80 was not really necessary here. Do we not have pandas import? Yeah, we've got pandas imported. We can use that. So then what we're running, so here we can say like true, false, 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 false. Oh, maybe the last one can be true. Okay, let's see if this passes. Tests, v1 test. Okay, dataframe. Little PyTest trick for anyone not familiar with it, where it just runs tests which match some regular expression. Don't know why they chose K for this, but I'm not going to argue with PyTest maintainers. Even though I think I've brought it up in a previous stream, one of my earliest open source contributions was to PyTest, and that was getting these colors, the colors of the percentages to align with the colors of the dots. Okay, now got that expected bool id.dataframe assert is expected. I'm still impressed that Cameron is doing everything just in base Vim, so I feel like if you could give a tutorial on mastering Vim, being productive with Vim, I would love to watch that. Got a couple of test failures. What is native series? Assert false is true. This one here. Wait, how did this is native data from pass? Because we've called it on a Narwhals subject. I'm confused. How is this passing? Vim plus Tmax. Okay, time to put a breakpoint. So df is indeed this Narwhals object, and is native data frame is cuDF. Okay, because it runs them in a random order. Is pandas data frame. Yeah, this gives us false. And expected is, oh, holy shit. I'm missing an assert statement. How is that even possible? That's why the second one. Yeah, this should just, we don't need to parameterize. Okay, maybe I didn't need those fancy multi-line bit motions for this. Okay, let's see if we can do this. So Yeah, Vim macros for the win. Okay, got all of those here. Nice, let's do the same below. So I'm not building my keyboard, but the macros let you just record some keystrokes that then you can play back. So here I'm going to do QA, so to start recording onto the macro A. Then I'll do caret to make sure I'm at the start of the line. Then X to delete this one. F comma to go forwards to the next comma. And then capital D. Let's go down. Q again. So then with and A, we should be able to just apply this to all the lines. Yeah. And assert not. Okay, let's just check that the test still passes. Okay, nice. So this asserts that we keep things stable for existing users. We then need to update the doc strings. But first, it's time for a little break. Okay, then let's get back to this. Quick audio check again. Wait, is this coming through? Yeah, it's coming through. Nice. Nice and clear. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got this in. So next we need to add a warning to these methods. So let's go in dependencies. So loud and clear. Awesome. Okay, I do need to be reminded now. So we've kind of gone back and forth between directives and warnings. What's the state? In docstrings, we've got notes. Or do we have something like warning? Yeah, notes is probably fine. Although surely there's a good way to do this. So Google docstring style warning. Oh, down in the chat, it's warning : Okay, I don't think we have any of those at the moment, do we? Oh wait, we do, yeah. Nice, yeah, okay, we've got those. Awesome. So we can put it here too. So this method cannot be called on a narwhals. Object. I kind of feel like this should just be can't be called on a narwhals object. Or I don't know. Data frame. Lazy frame. Yeah, this will do. So def is underscore anything data frame. Okay, again, maybe we want a Vim macro for this. So QA. Again, we're going to search for is underscore anything data frame. Then we're going to go down one. We're going to go to the C. Going to insert a new line. Going to go to the triple backtick. So 2 lines. Then warning. This method cannot be called on a narwhals. Data frame, lazy frame. Q. Okay, let's see if this does it for all of them. All right, nice. And let's align this one with the others. Okay. Right, I think that's all of them. So then we need to do something similar for series. Is series. Oh gosh, but to be all just the pandas like one is a bit different. Okay, here we go. Is series. Then go to the C, new line, go to the triple backtick, double line, warning, this method cannot be called on series. I think I messed something up because it doesn't seem to be rewriting others. Oh wait, hold up. Sure thing. What have I done? Is okay. Just gonna keep typing, but happy to happy to go back if there's something that needs addressing. So some are re-exported under a different name. Just checking they don't break with this, sure. Thanks, I'll take a look at that. What about his pandas like data frame? Is native... Okay. Oh, like his native pandas. This looks different. In fact, what? Oh, this is just checking the library rather than the exact object. I think this is fine then. Yeah, I think this is okay. Maybe something can be deduplicated, but I think it's fine. In which case, yeah, let's go back here. Yeah, let's just check through these doc strings. So is pandas data frame? Yeah, we've got that. Is pandas series? We've got it. Is pandas index? Don't need it. Modin data frame. We're missing it here for some reason. Okay. But in series, we're missing it here too. I've added that by Spark labels. Nice, thanks. So cuDF. PDF series, index, scalar, desk data frame, duckdb relation. Probably want it here too. Into a decorator and dynamically append the docstring. I think dynamically appending docstrings, does that work in VS Code? Because I remember trying this at some point, and I think I found that it didn't do what I wanted it to. I mean, if it works, I'm all for it. But oh, actually, maybe it works dynamically, but then the things like rough, when rough checks docstrings, then that won't work on dynamically generated docstrings. There was some issue that I didn't like. I can't remember. No, I don't think an editor will render them statically. Yeah. Like, my biggest frustration with the pandas docs is that all of the doc strings are generated dynamically. And so there's like no linting, no static analysis. Oh, right, yeah, Dan's also commenting here. I really dislike that pandas and PyArrow do that. Dask as well, I think, is notoriously bad when it comes to doing static, dynamic docstring generation. In fact, in general, the Dask docs leave a bit to be desired. It doesn't work. Please don't do it. No, I won't. Don't worry. Oh, good. Okay, PyArrow. One more. How many do we have? Right, yeah, we've got it here. Okay, I think we're good. You all don't like seeing docstring append. Oh my gosh. That is, yeah, perma trigger for me. It's because there is a system in pandas that lints docstrings. What's it called? NumPy doc, which by itself isn't too bad, but the way it's done in pandas is kind of painful. Docstrings are a good thing to keep wet. I believe so, yes. Where is it? Oh, there's like scripts. There's something here about docstrings. Validate docstrings. Yeah, this is the most painful thing. So it'll like dynamically render the docstring. It'll dynamically generate the docstring, and then it'll add import numpy as np and import pandas as pd to the top of the docstring. Then it'll write it to a temporary file, and then it runs flake8 on that temporary file, and then it prints out the messages that flake8 would have found, and then deletes the temporary file. If you're populating Cython with Ginger templates, what's the harm in populating your docstrings that way as well? Yeah. Now, yeah, Rough has made my little Absolify imports tool obsolete. At what point will they also make Cython lint obsolete? hopefully soon, because this tool sucks. This tool, I mean Python lint. It's just awful. Yeah, this stuff is. Don't know what to say about it. Not using temp file. That function is completely unusable. Temp file is unusable, maybe. But somebody. Sorry, just to go on a little pandas tangent, I thought this was kind of interesting. Complex values. So, yeah, there's one of these never-ending discussions in pandas about moving to PyArrow D types by default. Like, I don't know how long, Jesus, pandas. Don't know how long this conversation has been going on for. But there was this graph in there, which is like commits over time to the pandas repo. And yeah, I think it tells quite a story. No caption needed. Right, where are we? Did I push? Oh yeah, git commit -a -m. So keep stable in v1. Write doc strings. Push it. Maybe push it shouldn't be part of the commit message. What's going on? Find. Oh, right, we need to move this to the top. Just going to paste these together and hope that Ruff can sort out the rest. So do you think it's due to the growing complexity of the code base or that people are shifting away from it? Shout out to my docstring issue. Oh, I want to see this. 2424. Is this in pandas or in Narwhals? Okay, so comes. I think people are shifting away from it, to be honest. I mean, I think that's part of it. Part of it, another part of it is that the algorithms in pandas are written in Python. And there's a lot of reasons why people contribute to open source, but one is to practice skills and things, and who's interested in practicing their Python skills? I don't think anyone. Like, the only time I ever saw a job advert that said that Python was a desirable skill was when I applied to Quantsite. But outside of a job that's related to open source, I don't think anyone really values Python programming, for better or for worse. Whereas if you learn to contribute, say, to Polars, you're going to learn some Rust on the side. You'll learn some interesting things. Hey, why isn't this going? Redefinition of NW, yeah. In v1. It's not used. Okay, we can just remove it. Cool. Oh, Narwhals 2424. Okay, let's take a look now. Tests utils. Test. Okay. Oh, about docs. Oh, is it about this dark lint? Maybe. Yeah, I feel like I've done more than I should have done here. Something's gone terribly wrong with this merge. Native test. Was anything... Oh, Narwhals. Was anything meant to change? I don't think anything was meant to change in this test. In which case, when all else fails, git checkout upstream main from native test. Oh, shoot. Okay, I think I see what's happened. What do I? Yeah, I think that by doing one of these renames, VS Code has renamed it in way more places than it should have. Okay, time to do git add -p. Sometimes that's the only way out of things. Okay, yeah, these are good. Here's Narwhals dataframe. Heading off. Cool. All the best done. Ciao. Yeah, let's take this one for now. I'll have to fix it up later. Yeah, let's add these. Stage this one. Arg true. No. Gather every. No. What else? Gather every. No. Oh my gosh. There's. Oh, this is painful. It might take less to just stage the files that I intentionally want, to be honest. So I definitely want to stage Narwhals dependencies. I definitely want to add stable v1 dependencies. And then there was the test file, which is native, this one. So Narwhals dependencies, stable v1 dependencies, this test file, and the v1 test. Everything else we can just get rid of. Push. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, Cam, if you're still there, the other one that we need to address for V2 is this one about any and all horizontal. It's a bit annoying. I mean, I kind of only have myself to blame for this because I raised the issue with polars. But on the other hand, I kind of could see that this inconsistency was going to have to be addressed in Polar at some point. And if we're going to address it, I'd rather address it for V2 than have to later come out with V3. Kind of really hoping that V2 can be like the definitive Narwhals version. But yeah, this issue is quite wild. Okay, can I take a break? But this looks difficult. Just like a big walls of text after each other. But can we see the graph here of things slowing down? It's, yeah, I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense that during the pandemic things would have increased. You can kind of see it trending down. Like 24 to 25 is particularly acute. I'm just curious about polars now, just for comparison, and about narwhals. Okay, yeah, this is when did they announce the company? Might have been like around August 22 or so, so not long thereafter, presumably having hired people. It's really grown. Curious then about narwhals. 2024 would have marked when polars and DuckDB were strong in the scene. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of flattish for narwhals. I guess if you squint hard enough, you can see a slight slowdown. So this year, February, this is when the project started. So I think I had like a week off or something, and I just did nothing but code that week and just started it. So it kind of makes sense that that was like a wild number of commits. Also, maybe more relevant, at some point, I switched the GitHub settings so it would squash commits. So at the beginning, you see it was just like, yeah, huge numbers of commits. Anyway, nice to see pre-commit CI bot as one of the most prolific contributors to the Narwhals repo. I said I'd take a break, so let's indeed take a break and then see if we can actually get closer to V2. This elusive, never-ending process, but we will get there. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, yeah. Message from Cam about how on Discord I appear as playing OBS Studio. Okay, yeah. Where are we? Yeah, raising informative error message. I can see some red. Obviously, because that's just what CI does. Okay, let's see if we can fix this up. Nearly 7 minutes. Is this because of all the test failures? Maybe. Oh gosh. Rolling var test to is pandas series. What? Oh, are we using this ourselves in our tests? Oh, this is a bit wild. Okay. Let's see. Anything we need to pay attention to here? So let's do last failed and then quick fail. So is pandas series. Is iterable. Why are we checking specifically for pandas? So, okay, there's a few things we need to adjust here. So let's also import is Narwhals series. Well, what we could do then is we could say, so if it's iterable and if it's not a Narwhals, right, yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I think we kept this because we wanted to give good error messages for like the most common kinds of libraries. Oh, this is in maybe set index. Very ugly. Method to begin with, to be honest. Yeah, so we could say if not is Narwhals data frame and not is Narwhals series and Well, we could just do the same thing as we do there. Like, why did we do this? Yeah, it'll do. Yeah, this is absolutely fine. Let's just do it this way. Easy. Okay. Now let's see if it passes. Okay, nice. Cool. So simplify is iterable. I find that whenever I look at any code that I wrote last year, I just cringe so badly. Cool. Let's see if we can get this green. Okay, and then for the road to V2, I think there's really not much left. With row index, deprecate get level, that would be good. I should probably catch up with Francesco about this because he said he'd started it. Oh, oops. Okay, the function name is a big old misleading lie. Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, maybe we should do those checks outside. I kind of want to keep that separate from this PR though. But here in this 12307, I kind of want to see if we can catch up with Francesco on this, because he said he'd started this. Do you have a... So let's just ping Francesco. Do you have a solution for the workaround exists? It's enough for row index, but not for int range. I think anything... I think if you have something that allows us to do a lazy frame with row index, order by, then that's all we need for now. After having gone around in circles, I am persuaded enough by your original suggestion. Alternatively, and this is, I don't know how controversial this is, but we could just say that with row index, adds row index based on... No, actually, no. I was going to say that we can just say that there's no stability guarantees and that things might vary across backends, but I feel like this is just going to be a recipe for bad code. in the end, I don't really want Narwhals to be like the last dataframe API you'll ever need to learn, or the tool to end all other tools, or anything like that. But rather just like a safe abstraction that allows you to confidently write code that's going to generalize across different systems. And to do that, then for lazy ones, I think it's good if we just don't make assumptions about order at all. Okay, let's see what's raising now. Static type checking is failing. Sometimes resolving that is enough to resolve the rest. So let's take a look. Oh, something's up with the v1 test. Okay, what have we possibly changed here? We got rid of this one for some reason. Yeah, we need to reset this file. It's just in such a broken state. So git reset and then git add -p. This will solve it. Right, so we want callable, remove that one, add all these dependencies. Sure, I'll take that. I don't want to rewrite test. Let's split it. Yeah, sure. Don't take that. GitHub is in the way of VS Code. Ah, thanks. Happens that has to happen at least once. Otherwise, it's not a proper stream. Yes, okay. Yeah, git add -p, huge fan. Okay. Let's see if now PyWrite says anything. Okay, I think we can almost wrap this up. Cool, got some things done, got some nice discussion around this one. And hopefully we can move forwards with the other issues. And I don't know, maybe by August or so we can actually have a stable .v2. That would be pretty sick. And then we can focus more on things that we find interesting. But we'll get there. Okay, anything new to take a look at? So on the what's it called? The coalesced. Are you okay to take that forwards? Like, was it clear what we discussed earlier about where to do the where to apply lit? Coalesce, yes, exactly. Yeah, handle it at each backend. Cool, nice. It's, yeah, probably only some that really need the handling. All right, yeah, let's call it a day then. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the engagement. Speak to you soon. Have a good one. Ciao.